Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Jordan Belfort, the Wolf of Wall Street, and I'm about to drop a truth bomb that'll shake you to your core. Picture this, it's 1994, and I'm strutting into a boardroom on Wall Street. Tie sharp, grin sharper, ready to pitch a deal that could make or break my firm. The room's a Shark Tank, suits with egos bigger than their bank accounts, glaring at me like I'm fresh meat. They don't just dislike me, they hate me. Rivals whispering, I'm a flash in the pan, regulators sniffing around, even my own team doubting if I can pull it off. And you know what? That hate didn't stop me. It fueled me. It lit a fire in my gut that turned a nobody from Queens into a Wall Street legend. Why? Because if you've got no enemies, you've got no power. Let's get real for a second. How many of you are out there trying to be everybody's buddy, playing it safe, keeping your head down, thinking if you're nice enough, the world will hand you a trophy? Here's the question that'll change the game. What if your enemies are the secret to your power? What if the people who hate you, doubt you, or want to see you crash are the biggest sign you're doing something worth a damn? See, most folks run from conflict like it's the plague. They think if someone's mad, they're failing. Wrong. Enemies aren't a curse. They're a badge of honor. They mean you're shaking things up, pushing boundaries, building something so big it makes people uncomfortable. And that, my friends, is where real power lives. This isn't about picking fights or being a jerk. It's about understanding that if you're aiming high, building a business, chasing a dream, rewriting the rules, you're gonna piss some people off. And that's a good thing. Napoleon Hill, the godfather of success, said it best. Great achievement is usually born of great sacrifice and is never the result of selfishness. Sometimes that sacrifice is being liked. When you're out there making waves, not everyone's gonna clap. Some will cheer, sure, but others, they'll throw stones. And those stones, they're proof you're climbing higher than they can reach. Today, we're flipping the script on what you've been taught about conflict. We're gonna tear down the myth that everybody's gotta love you, show you how to embrace opposition as rocket fuel, and give you the tools to turn haters into horsepower. This is a masterclass in owning your ambition, measuring your success by the enemies you make, and building an empire that stands tall no matter who's trying to tear it down. So buckle up, because we're diving into the truth about power, and it starts with the people who don't want you to have it. Who's ready to make some enemies and claim what's yours? The myth of being liked by everyone. Now let's cut through the noise and call out the biggest lie you've been fed since you were a kid. If everyone likes you, you're winning. Bullshit. That's a fairy tale for people who want to stay small, safe, and stuck. If you're walking through life trying to be everybody's best friend, you're not building an empire, you're building a cage. Real power, real impact, real success comes with a price, and that price is pissing some people off. Let's break down why this everybody loves me. Myth is holding you back, and why your enemies are the real measure of your ambition. Napoleon Hill didn't mess around when he talked about definiteness of purpose. He said, there is one quality which one must possess to win, and that is definiteness of purpose, the knowledge of what one wants, and a burning desire to possess it. Notice he didn't say be nice so nobody gets mad. Hill knew that chasing a big goal, whether it's a business, a movement, or a legacy, means standing firm, even when it ruffles feathers. You think the greats, Edison, Ford, hell, even me in my prime, got to the top by making everyone happy? No way. They had enemies. Competitors, doubters, gatekeepers who wanted them to fail. And those enemies weren't a sign they were screwing up. They were proof they were shaking the right trees. So why does this myth of universal likability screw you over? First, it keeps you small. When you're obsessed with pleasing everyone, you water down your vision. You say yes to things you should torch, take safe bets instead of bold ones, and end up with a life that's beige at best. Second, it's a distraction. Worrying about who likes you pulls your focus from what matters, your goal, your hustle, your empire. Third, and this is the big one, it's a lie. You can't please everyone. The harder you try, the more you lose respect. People don't follow pushovers. They follow leaders who stand for something, even if it means making enemies. Let's get real. Who are the people we remember? The ones who played nice and faded away? Or the ones who stood tall, took heat, and changed the game? Steve Jobs had enemies, competitors, critics, even his own board. Did he care? Hell no. He built Apple into a juggernaut because he wasn't chasing hugs. He was chasing greatness. Same with me on Wall Street. I had rivals who'd spit my name like a curse, regulators who wanted my head, and media painting me as the bad guy. Did I lose sleep over it? Not a chance. Their hate was my fuel. Every jab, every obstacle, every enemy told me I was on the right track, building something too big to ignore. Here's a question to chew on. Would you rather be loved or legendary? If you're aiming for legendary, you've got to accept that some people won't get on board, and that's okay. Enemies come in two flavors: useless haters and strategic rivals. Haters are just noise, jealous, small-minded folks who can't stand your shine. Ignore them, they're irrelevant. Rivals, though, they're different. They're the ones who push you, challenge you, force you to level up. They're the benchmark that says, you're playing in the big leagues. Learn to spot the difference. And you'll see opposition, not as a setback, but as a sign you're doing something worth hating. So ditch the myth. Stop trying to win the popularity contest. It's a loser's game. Instead, embrace the truth. If you've got no enemies, you're not aiming high enough. Your haters, your rivals, your doubters, they're not your problem, they're your proof. Proof you're disrupting, proof you're climbing, proof you've got power. Next up, I'm taking you back to Wall Street for a story that'll show you how I turned enemies into energy and built a legend in the process. Jordan Belfort's personal story. Enemies made me a legend. All right, let's roll back the clock to 1993. When I was the young wolf running Stratton Oakmont, a firm that had Wall Street quaking in its loafers. I'm in my office, tie loose phones ringing off the hook and the air's buzzing with deals. But outside those walls, it's a war zone. Rivals are gunning for my clients, whispering I'm a flash in the pan. Regulators are circling like vultures, sniffing for any excuse to shut me down. The press, they're painting me as the devil in a pinstripe suit. I've got enemies everywhere, big players, small players, and every jealous wannabe in between. Most people would have buckled, tried to play nice, or begged for a truce. Not me. Those enemies didn't break me. They made me a legend. Let me take you inside the fight that turned hate into horsepower and showed me the real power of opposition. It's a Tuesday morning, and I've got a meeting with a potential client, a whale, the kind of guy who could drop millions without blinking. Problem is, my enemies have been in his ear. A rival broker's been trashing me, saying I'm too risky, too young, too cocky. The regulators are breathing down my neck, making noise about investigations. Even the Wall Street Journal's got a hit piece calling Stratton a pump and dump shop. I could have walked into that meeting shaking, ready to defend myself. Instead, I saw it for what it was, a chance to turn the heat into fuel. In my mind, those enemies weren't obstacles. They were proof I was playing a bigger game than they could handle. I stroll into the meeting, sharp suit, sharper grin, acting like the deal's already done. The client, let's call him Mr. Big, sits there, arms crossed, looking at me like I'm a kid who wandered into the wrong room. He hits me hard. Belfort, why should I trust you when half the street says you're a crook? A lesser man would have flinched, started explaining, or worse, apologized. Not me. I leaned forward, locked eyes, and said, half the street's mad because I'm beating them at their own game. You don't trust me. Trust my results. Then I slid a folder across the table, clean, no BS, just numbers showing returns that make your head spin. I didn't defend, I attacked. You want safe. Go with the guys who play small, and you want to win big, you're at the right table. He pushes back, bringing up the regulators, the headlines. I don't dodge. I nod, smile, and say, good. If I wasn't making waves, I wouldn't be worth your time. Those guys are mad because I'm changing the game, and they can't keep up. Then I flipped it, asked him, what's the biggest risk you've taken that paid off? Got him talking about his own wins, his own fights. Suddenly, we're not enemies, we're allies. Two guys who get what it means to take heat for being bold. I painted a picture of what his portfolio could look like with me in his corner. Vivid, specific, irresistible. By the end, he's not just sold, he's writing a check and laughing, saying, you're a crazy bastard, Belfort, but I'm in. Why did it work? Because I didn't run from my enemies. I used them. Every hater, every rival, every headline was a signal I was doing something worth noticing. Napoleon Hill said, every adversity carries with it the seed of an equivalent advantage. My enemies were that seed. Their attacks sharpened my focus, forced me to get better, and gave me a stage to prove I was the real deal. That deal didn't just land a client. It turned Stratton into a force nobody could ignore. My enemies didn't stop me. They made me. This isn't just my story. It's yours. You've got haters, doubters, maybe even a boss or a competitor who wants you to fail. Don't hide from them. Don't try to win them over. Use them. Let their noise remind you you're on the right track. Every enemy is proof you're climbing higher than the crowd. So embrace the fight. Own the heat and let it make you a legend. The Hunter's Sip's Guide to Embracing Opposition. Now we're getting to the good stuff, the playbook that turns your enemies into your greatest asset. If you want to hunt power, you've got to stop dodging opposition and start using it like a weapon. This isn't about being a jerk or picking fights. It's about seeing haters, rivals, and obstacles for what they are, fuel for your empire. I'm giving you a step-by-step guide to reframe criticism. Outsmart rivals and channel every ounce of resistance into momentum. This is how you become unstoppable. Straight from the Wall Street trenches and backed by Napoleon Hill's wisdom. Let's load up your arsenal and go hunting. Step 1. Reframe the hate. Enemies aren't a problem, they're a progress report. When someone's throwing shade, whether it's a snarky colleague or a competitor bad-mouthing you, it's a sign you're shaking things up. Hill said your big opportunity may be right where you are now. That includes the haters. Try this, write down your loudest critic's name and one thing they've said about you. Now flip it. If they're calling you too aggressive, that means you're bold. If they say you're unrealistic, you're a visionary, reframe their noise as proof you're on the right track. I used to keep a mental list of every rival who trashed me. It wasn't a hit list, it was a motivator. Every jab pushed me to work harder, pitch sharper, win bigger. Step 2, sort haters from rivals. Not all enemies are created equal. Useless haters are just jealous noise. Ignore them. Strategic rivals, though, they're gold. They're the ones who challenge you, force you to raise your game. On Wall Street, I had rivals who'd steal my clients if I blinked. Instead of whining, I studied them, their moves, their weaknesses, and used it to outmaneuver them. Here's how: pick one rival in your world. What are they doing better? What can you learn? Then beat them at their own game. Write down one thing you can do this week to outshine them. A better pitch, a bolder move, a smarter strategy. Rivals aren't enemies. They're your personal trainers. Step 3, channel criticism into focus. Criticism stings, but it's also a roadmap. When someone calls you out, don't get mad, get better. Hill talked about turning adversity into advantage. And this is how, next time you get hit with feedback, say your idea is too risky. Don't sulk, ask what's valid here. How can I tighten my game? I once had a client rip apart my pitch, saying I was all flash, no substance. I didn't argue. I went back, reworked my numbers, and came back with a deal so tight he signed on the spot. Try this, keep a criticism log. Every time you get heat, write it down. Find one actionable takeaway and use it to level up. Step 4, stay ice cold under fire. Enemies love to rattle you. Don't let them, the second you show weakness, they've won. On Wall Street, I'd get grilled by clients throwing every objection in the book. I'd smile, stay calm, and hit back with facts and confidence. How? Practice emotional control. Next time someone's in your face, take a deep breath, count to 3, and respond like you're untouchable. Picture yourself as a boxer, dodge the punch, then counter. Try this role play, a tough scenario with a friend. Have them throw objections at you and practice staying cool while firing back. That composure turns enemies into admirers. Step 5, celebrate the fight. Here's the final piece. Love the battle. Enemies mean you're in the arena, not the stands. Every time you face opposition, it's a reminder you're playing big. I'd walk into meetings knowing half the room wanted me to fail. It didn't scare me, it fired me up. Try this at the end of each week. Write down one enemy encounter, a critic, a rival, an obstacle, and how you turned it into a win. Celebrate it. That's not just progress, it's power. Real world proof. I had a broker working for me, good guy, but he'd crumble when clients pushed back. He'd take it personally, lose his edge. I taught him to reframe criticism, study rivals, and stay cool. 6 months later, he's closing deals like a machine, using every no as fuel for a yes. That's what this guy does. It turns you into a hunter who thrives on opposition. Your enemies aren't holding you back. They're pushing you forward. Reframe their hate. Learn from rivals. Turn criticism into fuel. Stay ice cold. and celebrate the fight. That's how you hunt power. That's how you build an empire. Common traps and how to dodge them. All right, let's get down to the nitty-gritty. You're pumped, ready to turn your enemies into rocket fuel and hunt power like a wolf. But here's the deal. The road to greatness is littered with traps, stupid, avoidable mistakes that can trip you up and send you crawling back to the safe, small life of a people pleaser. I've seen it on Wall Street, and I've seen it in life. Good people with big dreams get derailed because they fall into these rookie traps. Not you. I'm giving you the playbook to spot these pitfalls and dodge them like a pro, so you can keep climbing, keep fighting, and keep winning, no matter who's trying to tear you down. Let's break down the biggest traps and how to leap over them, Belfort style. Trap hash 1. Obsessing over haters. The first mistake is letting useless haters rent space in your head. These are the jealous types, the ones who trash you because you're outshining them. They're not rivals, they're noise. Spend your energy fighting them, and you're wasting ammo. On Wall Street, I had guys spreading rumors I was a fraud, small-time brokers who couldn't stand my success. I didn't argue or lose sleep. I ignored them and kept closing. How do you dodge this? Focus on your target, not the chatter. Try this next time. A hater pops off, write their name down, then burn the paper. Literally, let it go. Your energy's for winning, not whining. Trap type 2, begging for approval. Chasing everyone's love is a one-way ticket to mediocrity. You start softening your edges, watering down your vision just to avoid ruffling feathers. That's not power, that's weakness. I once saw a broker kill a killer deal because he was too busy trying to charm a client who didn't matter. He lost the room. Don't do it. Stand firm in your purpose, like Napoleon Hill's definiteness of purpose, to dodge this trap. Practice saying no to things that don't serve your goal. Next week, turn down one request that pulls you off track, a favor, a meeting, whatever. Protect your vision, even if it makes someone mad. Trap hash 3, taking it personally. Enemies will hit you where it hurts, your ego, your pride, your insecurities. If you take it personally, you're done. They've got you reacting instead of acting. I had regulators gunning for me, calling me every name in the book. Did I cry about it? Hell no. I used it to sharpen my game. Hill said, every adversity carries with it the seed of an equivalent advantage. Don't let the sting cloud your focus. Try this when criticism hits. Take a deep breath, count to 5 and ask, what can I learn here? Turn their shots into your stepping stones. Trap hash 4, freezing under pressure. Opposition can make you choke, doubt creeps in, and you hesitate. That's death in the hunt for power. I've seen guys freeze mid-pitch because a client threw a hard objection. On Wall Street, I faced rooms full of skeptics, but I never let their heat slow me down. How? Preparation and practice. Know your stuff cold, your numbers, your pitch, your comeback. To dodge this, rehearse your next big moment. Got a meeting? Role play it with a friend, throw every objection you can think of, and practice staying cool. When the real thing hits, you'll be bulletproof. Trap hash 5. Avoiding conflict altogether. The biggest trap, trying to dodge enemies entirely. If you're so scared of making waves that you stay small, you're not living, you're hiding. Power comes from standing tall, even when it means a fight. I built Stratton by taking on giants, knowing they'd come for me. Hill said strength and growth come only through continuous effort and struggle. Embrace the battle. Try this week. Take one bold move that might stir things up. Pitch a big client, ask for a raise, launch that idea. If it sparks resistance, good, you're in the game. Real world proof. I knew a guy sharp, talented, but he fell into every trap. He'd obsess over critics, beg for approval, take every jab personally, freeze when challenged, and play it safe to avoid conflict. Result, he's still stuck, dreaming instead of doing me. I dodged these traps by staying focused, standing firm, and loving the fight. That's why I turned enemies into proof of my power. You can too. These traps are real, but they're not your fate. Stay sharp, protect your focus, and embrace the heat. You're not here to be liked. You're here to be legendary. Now, let's wrap this up. and send you out to make some noise. Conclusion. Your enemies are your proof. All right, we've been through the trenches together, flipping the script on enemies, turning hate into fuel, and arming you with the tools to hunt power like a wolf. Now it's time to bring this home. Light a fire in your gut and send you out to build an empire that makes the world take notice. This isn't just a video, it's a battle cry. If you've got no enemies, you're not in the game. But if you've got haters, rivals, doubters trying to pull you down, congratulations, you're doing something worth hating. Your enemies aren't your problem. They're your proof. Proof you're climbing. Proof you're disrupting. Proof you've got power. So let's lock this in and get you moving. Here's the truth. Power isn't about being liked. It's about being undeniable. It's about walking into a room, knowing you're a force, and letting the opposition sharpen your edge. You've got the playbook now. See enemies as a sign of impact. Use rivals to level up. Turn criticism into fuel. And never ever play small to keep the peace. Napoleon Hill said, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Believe this, your enemies are your measure. The louder they get, the bigger you're playing. So stop dodging them. Stop apologizing for your ambition. Start hunting your goals with the kind of fire that makes the world take notice." Your mission starts now. Today, pick one goal, one bold move that's going to stir things up. Maybe it's launching that business, pitching that client, or calling out a rival's bluff. Write it down, make it real, and act on it this week. Expect pushback. Hell, welcome it. When the haters start chirping or the rivals start circling, don't flinch. Smile. That's your signal you're on the right track. Take one step today, send an email, make a call, take a stand. Then another tomorrow. Stack those wins and watch how fast your enemies turn from obstacles to evidence of your rise. This is your moment. The world's full of people playing it safe, begging for approval, fading into the background. That's not you, you're a wolf. Built for the hunt, ready to turn every no into fuel, every hater into a stepping stone. I did it, took on Wall Street's biggest players, laughed at the headlines, and built a legacy that's still standing. You've got that same fire in you. So go make some enemies. Shake things up. Build something worth hating. Your enemies are your proof. Proof you're not just living, you're dominating. Now get out there and show them what a wolf can do.